Welcome back to Sovereign Moves. Today, we're diving deep into the latest global strategies. Remember to like and subscribe for more insights.
On May 1st, the dust was still settling over the Shajareh al-Mahdi neighborhood in southern Iran. Underneath the shattered concrete was the Shajareh Tayyebeh Elementary School, a completely civilian institution that had just been erased by a precision missile strike. The human cost was devastating. Emergency recovery efforts pulled 156 civilian bodies from the rubble. Among the dead were 120 schoolchildren, 73 boys and 47 girls, along with 26 teachers and several parents who had arrived to pick up their kids. According to Red Crescent medics on the ground, the scale of the destruction was the result of a deliberate firing sequence. The military executed a triple tap strike, hitting the exact same target multiple times in a row to ensure total structural collapse, often catching survivors and first responders in the follow-up blasts. Medics testified that after the initial missile hit, the school's principal quickly moved a group of surviving students into a prayer room to take shelter while they frantically called parents. That specific room was then hit by the second and third strikes, killing nearly everyone who had sought refuge inside. The Pentagon categorized the bombing as a tragic administrative mistake, but on the ground, the clinical language of a military briefing clashes violently with the agonizing reality of targeted classrooms and grieving families. Investigations revealed U.S. Central Command relied on Defense Intelligence Agency data that was 10 years out of date. While the building originally sat inside an IRGC compound, satellite imagery confirms the school was walled off from the military base a full decade before the attack. The intelligence gap ignored obvious, easily accessible indicators of civilian life. The school's new perimeter featured 3 independent entrances with absolutely no military checkpoints, and the institution maintained a vivid, highly public website documenting years of daily student activities. Legal scholars define this operational failure as systemic recklessness. This occurs when an institution entirely fails to use basic open-source precautions, like checking a public website or satellite imagery, before clearing munitions for launch. A military can field the most advanced precision-guided weaponry on the planet, but that precision is entirely meaningless if the directing intelligence is compromised by deep institutional negligence. In Washington, the political defense was swift. Senator John Kennedy dismissed the incident as a tragic accident, telling reporters that while countries like Russia intentionally target civilians, the U.S. strike was simply a mistake. That specific political framing, treating the deaths of 120 children as an excusable clerical error, is actively causing the rules-based international order to buckle. The diplomatic backlash within the West was immediate. Outraged by the scale of the negligence, allied nations began pulling back. Spain and Italy moved to withdraw U.S. access to joint military bases for offensive operations, while debates over freezing defense aid consumed European parliaments. Meanwhile, Iran bypassed immediate military escalation to launch an asymmetric response. They initiated a $1 billion legal offensive aimed directly at the Defense Intelligence Agency. Western geopolitical alliances are fracturing precisely because the institutions designed to uphold global rules are actively excusing catastrophic negligence within their own ranks. This leaves a massive ethical void. A brief political apology from a press podium weighs next to nothing against the loss of 120 children. The Pentagon initiated an internal Army Regulation 15-6 investigation to figure out how the error occurred. But an administrative review conducted entirely inside the military's own chain of command falls far short of the independent thresholds required by international law. Under the Rome Statute and international humanitarian law, attacking forces have a strict legal duty. They are required to presume a target is civilian unless current, verified intelligence proves it has a military objective. Feasible precautions must be taken to avoid civilian harm. To prosecute a war crime, courts look for mens rea, or criminal intent. International law experts argue that completely failing to check updated satellite imagery or a public website demonstrates a level of systemic recklessness that legally satisfies this intent threshold. Under the laws of war, launching munitions based on decade-old intelligence is a prosecutable war crime. The global community is now forced to choose between demanding genuine legal accountability or accepting a system that sanitizes civilian deaths as mere administrative errors. If you want to look past sanitized military propaganda and understand the true mechanics of global conflict, join us. We're building a community of 1,000 members dedicated to uncovering the truth behind these sovereign moves. Subscribe and become part of the mission today.